So I posted this on Reddit. This is a holodeck in the DW20 pack of Feed the Beast, and it's holodeck from Star Trek if you haven't noticed. So right now there's nothing inside, it's just an empty room. But I can close this and I can open up a program. So Brandon's room. Oh, and this is Brandon over here.
Hi.
Say hi. Okay. So this is a room. Use chisel blocks for it, and it's pretty cool. And then I can go close it by pressing the close button, and as you can see, the old room is back. Oh, got a trap behind there. And I can actually just leave it open while it changes. So open up the forest, which is totally not completed yet. It's just grass and the tree. And yeah.
Skyblocks.
So it uses AE2 Applied Energistics to the Spatial I/O function, and that's basically all these sort of spatial pylons, and then the Spatial I/O port underneath. It's this thing that can sort of save a bunch of blocks in an area onto a spatial cell, which is in this chest, and then load it back later. So to start, we're going to want to put our spatial pylons down, and I'm going to raise it up a bit just so we can work underneath too. So I'm going to put them spread out a bit. You have basically it. I'll lay out the foundation here. There's going to be 4 every other block, then a gap of 4 more blocks, then another row of those 4 every other block. So I can send it out here. Then, oh, I had a lag spike. Oh, that was really bad. Like that, and then we just continue it out this way. So Brandon's going to go out from the other direction here.
Yeah, sure.
Going like this, and 4 out that way, then the gap of 4 blocks, then another one over here. And then around over here. So this is basically creates a 16 by 16 storage cell, and you can make it as tall as you want. If you only have a 16 cube storage cell, then you can, like the actual storage cell only handles 16 by 16 by 16. You can obviously only go 16 high, but if you have a 128 one, you could go as high as you want, and you can make this sort of as big as you want. So in this, we're going to do a 16 by 16 by 7. So we're going to make these spatial pylons 9 tall because the bottom and the top aren't included in the actual space, and we'll time lapse that. So the spatial pylons are done, but we do have to connect them all together. And because each spatial pylon takes up a channel in the A2 interface thing, it will need special cables. So we can just run the normal ME conduits, and I'm using the Ender IO ME conduits just because I like them better, and we have a bunch of them, between 8 of these, so that maxes out the whole conduit. And between these 6, then between these 8, and between these 6. I'm going to leave a space there for a dense conduit. So then I'm going to bring the dense conduits, which can hold all 32 channels, which is a bit more than we'll need, but so I can handle it, and bring these over here like this. And actually, for what I'm doing right now, you can use the normal ME conduits, but just for the line that connects them all, you do need the dense ones. Thanks. And then over here, dense. And then so they're all connected now, and then you just stick an ME controller over on one side of it, and then you do need to power the ME controller with something like storage or a resident energy cell. So as you can see, it's powered, and then it's actually good if all of these turn blue. If they stay red or any other color, then that's a bad sign. So now what we want to do is attach our spatial I/O port directly next to one of the spatial pylons, and then attach a chest directly next to the spatial I/O port. So you just put a wired modem on the spatial I/O port, then you want to attach one to the chest, but you can't attach a wired modem directly to the chest. You have to use this peripheral proxy, so stick that on, then stick a wired modem on there, then connect them all with networking cable. And activate them like this. Actually, I'm going to activate them once they're all connected to each other. So then I'm also going to put an advanced monitor here. So it's a 7x3, and I'll just stick it over here so it's easy to see. 7, and then up here. And then I'm also going to have an advanced computer, and I'll just stick that right there. Actually, it does need to go up one to control the spatial I/O port. So because of the way the redstone works out, it needs to have a space below it. So now I can just open up the computer, and I'll get the code on that later, but now we can attach this all over here. It does need a wired modem, and I'll put that on the top just because there's space. And then a wired modem connecting to the monitor. Oops, don't want to activate that yet. So now that they're all connected, you can activate them. And I'm going to wait for that to when I'm actually programming it. So this all should be good. We do need to put a storage cell, or actually 6 storage cells in this chest, and whatever size you want this spatial storage to be. So we're going to use just a 16 cubed one. Brandon actually had 2 on him. So there's 2 in this chest. And basically what it does is the program using the peripheral takes a storage cell out of this chest, sticks it in the I/O port, then activates it, and then the whole image sort of pops up here. So now we can actually load the code onto the computer. So here's the code. I put it on pastebin. So you just do pastebin get, then put this code in. I'm just going to copy and paste it since I don't have it memorized. But it's that right there. You can just type the same thing in and name it whatever you want. I'll name this one Holodeck. And then you also want to get this touchpoint API. To get the touchpoint API, just do pastebin get, same as you did the last way. Then put in the touchpoint API code, and you can just look up touchpoint API, and I'll put this in the description, and then name it touchpoint. But you do have to import the images, so do pastebin get, then this code, and then holodeck icon. So just do that. Then also another one, pastebin get. Let me go copy and paste that. This and buttons. Okay, and it does need those images. Those are both images. They aren't actually part of the code, but it still does need them. I'm going to open up the holodeck code. So edit holodeck. And then you can see, oh, by the way, this has to all be advanced monitor and advanced computer. So yeah, because it does use colors. So here it loads the touchpoint API. It doesn't work any other way. Then we're going to activate all of the network items. So activate the computer. We don't need to remember what that says, but we do need to remember what. So that's monitor 1, and container chest 3, and tile spatial I/O port 2. So you're going to need to change that in the code. So this is all monitor 0. You're going to need to change that to whatever it says for you. Changing mine to monitor 1 here. And container chest 3. And tile spatial I/O port, was it 2? Yeah, it was 2. And then it should all be good. So also you will need a wireless modem if you want to control it wirelessly. On the right side of the computer, so I'm going to get that now. And this is completely optional, this part. If you want to connect to other computers and have it controlled wirelessly, then you do need it, but otherwise you don't. So, and that's on the right side, but you can change whatever side it's on. So now you can actually scroll down a bit more, a bit farther, until you get to this section. So R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6. Those are just the names of the rooms. You can have them be whatever you want. Changing it doesn't actually mess up the code or anything. It's all good. So what I can do right now is actually save this, exit out. And something you always want to do with Computercraft programs is label the computer. So label set holodeck CPU, and that basically means that the computer saves all its programs after restart. So now I can just run the program holodeck, and there's an error. Now this time worked. I was actually just messing around with the code, and this I had a slightly different version that you guys won't be getting. So, but now it all works. All the UI is here, and if you do know Lua, you can feel free to like change what the UI looks like. You can just use a paint program to change holodeck, and I can actually demo how to do that. So you can just do paint holodeck icon, and then you can sort of swap this out for whatever you want. But I'm just gonna not save that. So, and then when you run holodeck next, it'll show up there. And then same with buttons. These 4 are buttons plus the numbers, which actually aren't part of it. The numbers are there. You can still change where the numbers are, and these are just random numbers every time. So basically, the computer needs to actually power the spatial I/O port in order for this all to work. So I'm gonna actually take this out because it's meant to just be in the chest still, and put a torch under there, and then a block here. Oh, let's break the torch a bit. You need to put the torch on the block, so put a block here. And there are other ways to wire this. I just found this to be the easiest way to actually power the spatial I/O port, since there aren't, when you're doing a compact design, there aren't many ways to actually get power to it. And power needs to be pointing at it. You can't just have redstone running next to it. So now a NOT gate in there, and redstone over here. So that'll basically, the computer will know to power it whenever it needs to, and that'll all be set. Your ME system does need a lot of power, and this doesn't just mean inputting power from a resident energy cell. It actually needs power in the system itself. So you can accomplish that by adding these AE2 energy cells. Actually, you can see here it updating. So right now for this sized holodeck, we need 5.78 million RF, but we only have that much kRF. So, or max of 416, so we can add these. A few more energy cells here, and you can obviously use dense energy cells, and you will not need as many. This is probably too many, but it'll also keep it buffered, so it doesn't need to like sort of refill up with energy every time. As you can see, it isn't instant. It takes some time to fill up with all the energy. So we can actually check here. It has enough stored and enough max power to actually activate. So I'm going to actually put this back in. It was meant to be in the chest right there. So now I can open the Brandon's room program, and just to confirm that it's open, we should check the chest, and there are 2 there, so that's a good thing. So now Brandon can come decorate his room by adding wood there. And okay, just tell me when you're done with that.
Yeah, here we go. Almost done. Alright.
Okay, it's a good room.
Alright, thanks.
So now you can just hit close, and there goes the room. It's not here anymore, but you can just open it back up. Let me just check I have enough energy actually. Yeah, usually if you have more energy cells, you don't have to check that every time. But so now I can open his room back up again, and there is the wood. So actually, I kind of want to demo. You can actually go into these because of the way AE2 spatial storage cells work. I can actually stay in here while it closes, and I'll stay with the program even if the program isn't actually existing. So, Brandon, do you want to hit close while I'm in here?
Sure.
Thanks. And there I go. So now I'm in this really dark area. It's the storage cell dimension, and it's all black, and there are walls. I can't go past the 16 by 16 bounds, and I can't fly up higher than 7. But everything's still here. If you have a whole room, you wouldn't really even notice a difference, just because like, everything still stays with you. And then you can bring me back whenever / now. Thanks. And yeah, I'm back. So yeah, so that works really nicely. So this is just for a bare bones holodeck. This is all you need. It doesn't have any fancy like garage door that opens and closes when the program's open or closed. Now we can get to adding all the sort of special features like a garage door. So we have a garage door here. We'll just keep this one as wood. We can sort of place some. Do we need marble or just some block along the top to place them under? And then a garage door there. And then, so by default, I did this wrong. This is the way the redstone works, so I'm actually going to stick that there. And then we used wireless redstone, but you could just drop a line of redstone up here. But it will know when a program is open or closed, and it'll open or close this door sort of, and just leave it open when a program is open. So we get some wireless receivers and transmitters. We have a wireless transmitter, brand new, to make wireless receiver really quickly.
Sure.
And so you can set this to whatever channel you want. On the other one, we have it set to 99, so why not? Actually, let's not have it set to the same thing. Let's do 199, otherwise it would interfere with the other holodeck. And then that should be on whenever a program is on. So actually, or maybe it's all the way around because of, so these are closed when they have no power, so it should be open right now. We'll close this. And then open again, and it just hasn't updated. Oh yeah, so now it has power. It just, I placed it and it hadn't really updated itself earlier. And then, there's a firefly there. How did that get there?
I put it there.
Oh, I'm just going to put it. Okay.
Oh, do fireflies not transparent?
No, they don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't. Some Twilight Forest stuff does, it's not fireflies, I guess.
Alright, where do you want it?
I'll just put it in the new system.
Oh, okay.
Alright, because, yeah. Thanks. So now you can just put the wireless receiver up here and rotate it so that it's facing the garage door. Set it to whatever channel you have, and now it's open when the program's open, and then you can close the program and the garage door closes. So that's sort of your holodeck door, just to get a nice feel. You won't be walking into like an empty holodeck, or you can see when one's open or closed without looking at the screen. So there are some other features that we have, like remote opening of the holodeck and remote closing of it using this wireless remote. Now, the way that works is a bit more complicated, and I'm not going to actually build one here. I'm just going to demo it on the other holodeck because it's something that you rarely will ever need to use, but it's something that you can have if you want. So I'm just going to go over here, go through the wall, and this is our main holodeck. We have these two other computers, and those all have wireless receivers on them. So on every face, and then a wireless modem here. So I can actually show the code on this. It basically says, it's pretty simple. It just says if you're getting an input, then transmit on the wireless modem. Like if it has a redstone input, then and then each one's on a different thing. So 100, basically a front side says close. So if you're emitting wireless redstone signal of 100, then it closes it. If you're doing one that's on the right side, that's 101, then it'll send the message P1, so that's open program 1. And yeah, so then this will automatically listen for everything on channel 404, so you just say open on 404, transmit on 404, and just copy this code down. And then with that, I can actually, without clicking on anything here, so let's say I want to open program 2, Brandon's room. This is on 102, it's already set to that. I just hit it. And then, oh, I forgot, since I was editing the program needs to be running here, obviously. Okay. Okay, so for the wireless, you just hit 102. This is, or set to 100, set to 102, which is program 2, Brandon's room. And then it will load as if you just pressed it on there. Here's program 2. Then let's say we get ourselves stuck in here, someone else wants to use it, so we close the program and it's closed, but we can still play around in the room once it loads back into the storage cell. So if we want to get out, we just hit 102 and then it'll load that program back, and then we're here again. So that's pretty useful. If you want to have, you can have multiple people using different programs in the same holodeck. You just have to have basically one person open and then close themselves in, and then open again once you want to get out. So you say close here, and it's closed. So I think that covers everything. We tried to get a bit of the Star Trek sort of look here with the walls. And then there is something I would recommend, actually. So above these laboratory blocks are inverted sky blocks. And because inverted sky blocks don't actually transfer with a spatial I/O, there are a few mods that aren't compatible with spatial I/O, so they won't really transfer when you try and move it. We put inverted sky blocks above here, so basically any room that wants to have a lookout of the sky, they just don't have a ceiling, and all of a sudden there's sky there. So that's pretty useful.
So like the forest on Gamma 6.
Yeah, the forest on Gamma 6. We can open that up. And there's forest with sky, and you can see the sun there. Yep. And you can see the stars and stuff when it's nighttime, which is pretty nice kind of block. So thanks for watching this. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll link to the original Reddit post. And this is pretty cool because, you know, Dan200, the creator of Computercraft, and DW20 himself both saw this and liked it, and I was recommended to do a video on it, so thank you guys for watching.